And welcome to another installment of the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans. This is the show where we take a look into the details and goings on in this league, because we all know our commissioner, who's lazy, who doesn't do anything for this league, doesn't keep track of anything, won't. I'm here with my co-host, as usual, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how are you doing, Mr. Banana Man?
Ted, you damn bastard. You ended my 5-game win streak, you son of a bitch. Besides that, sad to see Jen go home on Dancing with the Stars last night. I'm excited to see Hometowns tonight with Joan. Overall, wasn't the best weekend for me. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for you, Ted, congrats on clinching the playoffs. You have officially clinched the first one to clinch a spot. 6 wins. Hopefully I'm next. Next thing for you now is just working towards that bye.
You know, speaking of 6 wins, our guest again
is new.
Mr. Beaver Muncher, the commissioner. Trev, how you doing?
Hey, fellas. Doing good. Clinched the playoffs, baby. Congrats, Ted.
Congrats, guys. Congrats.
We don't have to set our lineups the rest of the regular season. We're in it.
We're mathematically insured to be in the playoffs.
There's no doubt about it.
With all this celebration, why don't we get into the Week 8 recap? And why don't we start with the first matchup, the co-host matchup? RJ, I actually brought I see you're wearing a banana. I brought another costume that maybe you could get.
Oh,
because you should have an L on your head. I beat RJ 135 to 113. Battle of the tight ends. Kyle Pitts with 23, K. Otten with 25. Just for me, no one really went nuclear, but just a lot of people in those upper teens, couple people in the lower 20s, really looking good. I'm feeling good. Dak had me a little worried there on Sunday night, but those garbage time touchdowns. And then for RJ, Jordan Mason really let you down. When are you going to cut the cord on him? Joe Mixon had a great game. Like I said, K. Otten too, but just not enough. How'd you feel about that one?
Yeah, Ted, early on, the start of the 1 o'clock, so I really thought we were both going to score about 150 each. I mean, the projections there for a little bit were right around 140 for both of us. I swear every touchdown in every 1 o'clock game was in our matchup. Burrow only throwing 1 touchdown. Hurt. Really needed 2 just to have a respectable day. Kenneth Walker, and I've said this before, the Seahawks just suck when they don't give it the ball. I mean, suck. 9 carries, and they lose by 21. Week before that in Atlanta, he had double-digit touches, like right around 21, 22 touches, and they win by 20. It's not rocket science. Just give him the ball. Also, just a quick note about their offense. Their time of possession, just because I watched that game so closely, it was the 4 o'clock with the Bills, so it was on often. Their time of possession is god-awful. So they had 21 minutes time of possession this past game, while Josh Allen had 39. They haven't had a game over 30, over half, in over a month. It is so infuriating to watch because I watched a lot of it since I needed him to go off, and also getting vultured by Charbonnet just was icing on the cake. JSN, though, filled in fine. I was fine with the 9.9 late start, and then Jake Bates, both of them really picked him up, I think, around noon. Jake Bates getting me at 12. K. Otten, like most tight ends, went off. Jordan Mason. I've been convinced by Twitter as a sportsbook plant. I read it a lot on Twitter that he's a sportsbook plant who just learned to play football a little bit, just enough to be on the field. And also that Kyle Shanahan is working with the sports books and playing him just enough so his bets don't get voided. Ruins people's parlays and also my fantasy team. This is the second time in a row he has gone into the game with no designation injury on the injury report. 0. He's clear. He's good to go. And then he gets hurt within 2 rushes. stands on the sidelines with his helmet, comes back in for like 1 or 2 plays, and then is never in the game anymore. I mean, what? It's so frustrating. I don't even understand it, but I'm glad. Hopefully CMC will be back after the bye week. Ted, sorry, I'm going on a rant. For you, pretty good effort. Everyone looked good. Dak, garbage time Dak. He was going to be all right. Even though I say garbage time, but they almost came back and won the game. Probably want more from Pickens and Tyreek, but you can't really complain. 135 overall as a team. Sorry, I spoke a lot there, but yeah, that's it.
Trev, you got anything to say about this matchup?
Yeah, big win for you, Ted, in the podcast host matchup. But another week where you guys do the opposite result. Teddy wins, RJ loses, so that streak continues.
Another week, that streak.
Not done the same thing. But
8 weeks in a row.
8 weeks in a row, crazy. But great week for me, Ted. I had every player on your team was like over 9 points, except for your kicker. So overall, really solid performance. I also think you had, I counted quick, I think it was 8 touchdowns. So that was. If you had 8 touchdowns, that solidifies the win. But so there you go. 8 touchdowns get you the win. 6 wins get you the playoffs. You got to be feeling good. You were the highest scoring team was that the first time this week?
First time
this year. So got the highest scoring team, put up some big points. So you got to be feeling good. Yeah, RJ, you hit on Kenneth Walker and Jordan Mason. Hopefully that's the last time you got to worry about Jordan Mason now with him on the bye this week. And then McCaffrey coming back for that game in Tampa. You get to see him in action for the first time.
That would be awesome.
Has anyone seen him walk this season?
No, I saw him in a TikTok with his wife dressed up as the Tin Man. And he just stood there. He didn't even take a single step. So I'm still convinced that he has not walked.
Every clip I saw of him on the sideline I was watching the game Sunday night, he was just standing there. Wasn't moving.
I actually think they messed up. I think I saw at one point someone was carrying him, and it was actually just a cardboard version of him. Like he was so light, they carried him to the side and would stick him down, just to be in the background of cameras, so people thought he was okay.
Yeah. So who knows? And every shot was just his upper body. They weren't showing his legs. So who knows if he's got legs? But yeah, Cade Otton looked great. Hopefully that gets you some big points here with the Bucs receivers out. But yeah, so you guys are still both looking good records. So no reason to feel too upset there, RJ. Teddy had a good week, but it's a good win for Ted.
Yes, thanks, Trevin. Speaking of a good win, Chase has been on a roll recently. He's won 2 in a row. He's climbing back out of last place. He beat Kevin 122-111. CD on Sunday night really helped him with those 33 points, really got him back in there. But he had Kyron going for 20. CJ Stroud let him down, but it didn't stop him. Rest of his team looking pretty good. Lions defense was a great pick up to put in there. And then Kev, on the other hand, Josh Allen didn't do enough, only 20. And then basically just George Kittle, the only other player putting up big numbers, just didn't do enough on the rest of his squad. RJ, how do you feel about Chase beating Kevin down?
Yeah, crazy finish to this matchup. I know the sports book had a lot of interest in it. For the whole game, so the line was Kevin minus 7.5. For the whole line, Kevin was covering that until the second to last drive. Chase snuck within the 7.5. And by the time I texted the person, oh boy, like, look at your bet, I saw CD went off again, and Chase actually ended up winning the game. It was insane. I know there's some speculation going on in the league. CD was playing the employer of Chase, who benefited from the garbage time points. Did he have conversations on the sidelines with the DBs like, hey, it's garbage time, just let CD get the ball? I wouldn't put it past him. If I was in his position, I probably would too, to be honest. Anything to get a win. Chase needed that win a lot. some more nuclear showings. Or a lot more nuclear with. So wait, what? What did I write here? Chase didn't have a nuclear tight end, did he?
No, Kevin did. Kittle went for 21.
Kittle
had 4 points.
Yeah, that'll be interesting after their bye week if CMC takes away any of those touches. But obviously with Ayuk out, Kittle should still be okay. Kev really just needed a mediocre showing from Amon-Ra, Drake London, and Waddle, and maybe Saquon to just get one of Jalen Hurts' 3 rushing touchdowns, and that would have been a win for him. But yeah, like you said, Ted, Chase inches further and further from that come game. He's just inching a little bit every single week.
Chase staying alive, feeling good. All right, obviously a tough injury for Chase with Diggs tearing that ACL. That'll be tough. I think Chase has found his quarterback in Baker. I know he started CJ Stroud, but with the injuries the Texans have had and the way Baker's still able to put up points even with his receivers out, I think will be smooth sailing for Chase with Baker from here on out. But CeeDee Lamb, crazy. I mean, Chase to have the Niners win on Sunday night and CeeDee Lamb going off, I definitely think he was telling them, hey, just let CeeDee score, because he was wide open on those 2 touchdowns, like nobody even around him. So definitely something I think Chase had a little hand in, but Kevin, I think, needs some more from Amon-Ra. I think he had 2 targets, 2 catches. He did get a touchdown, but just 7 yards. And obviously the Lions were blowing them out, so they weren't really throwing the ball a whole lot. But still, I feel like for Amon-Ra being that first-round pick, he's got to have more production for Kevin. And then Mark Andrews. I don't know why Chase didn't start him, but Mark Andrews being Mark Andrews now. He's going to be tight end 1 from here on out. So. It's crazy. But yeah, good win for Chase. Like you said, he's just inching farther away from that come game. And so Chase has got to be feeling good. I think that's 2 in a row for Chase. So
what you said about Amon-Ra to Kevin, it's interesting because of how good the Lions are running the ball. They haven't thrown it much at all the last few weeks. So that really puts a damper on
and when they are throwing it, it's David Montgomery.
Yeah, it's David Montgomery.
Some of the other receivers, because Laporta is in the same boat where they're just not having to rely on the passing game. Even though Jared Goff has looked awesome, but I think that's from how much the running game is opening it up for him.
I even argue that at this point in the season, the upside isn't like you take him for. You want Amon-Ra to be like that safety net, which I honestly probably thought he was the safest round 1 pick, because I just thought you didn't think so?
I said no. I said no one was. I'm just saying, looking back now, none of them were really that safe.
Yeah, that's true.
But with Amon-Ra, like just a stability guy putting up 15 plus a week, not really like someone like Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb who could go off for 30 but have a week of like 6. That wasn't really Amon-Ra. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I wouldn't at this point in the season. And Kevin's, what did that drop Kevin to? 4-4.
4-4.
I mean, it's anything can happen. You need wins, and I don't think that upside's there to just put him in without thinking about it. I'm not saying don't start him, but it's definitely a guy that you need to make sure, okay, what's the matchup look like? What other guys do I have available? Because he's not what he seems to be or seemed to be last year.
Jared Goff, 18 for 18, 250 yards. Got me feeling really nice.
Dad, have you seen those videos? The John Gruden videos? No. You should
I'll send them. They're hilarious.
I don't agree with the emails he sent, so I don't.
The
John Gruden.
Dayton Flyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we had
Tennessee
another
GA. Grew up in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, moving on to the next matchup, we had the bottom feeder matchup. Jack beating Monty. Jack with 124, Monty with only 89 points. That's really got to hurt the Bink. Looking at the pluses for Jack, he had a lot of good players getting double digits. No one really too flashy, except for Bijan with 20. Everyone else, I guess Jonathan Taylor, too, is looking good with 18, but a lot of pretty solid performances from everyone. And then Monty on the other side, just a bad week. Starting Jordan Love, who only got 5 instead of Jalen Hurts, who got 37. That's rough. Just double checking now. I don't think that switch by itself would have gave him the win, but it would have been a lot closer. But really, just people letting him down. He's got to be not feeling too great about Breece Hall on the Jets, and really not too much to be feeling good about for the Shea. But RJ, what do you got to say about this big matchup?
Yeah, Shea is solely in last, right? Or the bank.
He's 2-6.
2 losses. Yep.
Yeah. And we're looking now at the preseason lines. He had the second highest future. He was one of only 2 guys with a line of 8.5 wins. Second to be winner at plus 510 and come odds at plus 590. So he was definitely one of the favorites going into the year. Only one with 2 wins. Ugh. All right, to the game. This was the biggest game of the year. Jack comes out victorious when he needed it most. Huh?
Biggest game of the year. Must win, can't lose. Can't lose, must win. Keep going.
Yeah. Jordan Love getting hurt. Overall, wide receivers looked good, just couldn't get in the end zone. I mean, Malik Neighbors still got all those targets. David Njoku looked good with Jameis, trying to look on the bright side. Kareem Hunt looked good. Not sure when. Do you guys know when Pacheco comes back? Because it's got to be soon. Is it this week or is it next week?
I don't think they've said, but they've been like, oh, he's ramping up practice this week.
Okay.
So it's probably this week or next week.
Yeah.
Because it'll be interesting. I got a feeling they won't give it all the full backfield to Pacheco, and they're going to split it, which would suck for both him and Kevin. James Conner, though, great workload still in the backfield in Arizona, even with Kyler doing a little bit of running. Now, Breece Hall. Okay. Let me get on as I think Kevin has said, let me get on my soapbox for a second. Now, Breece Hall, I said it last year, I wasn't going to draft any Jets players. I just don't think their offense is any good. After I had Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, I said, remind me not to draft a Jets player. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't looked too much into it. It's probably whoever calls the plays, but they are they're a terrible team. They look terrible. They have great players, but they look god-awful. So Breece Hall is generating a 30% rushing success rate. Now, how do we calculate rushing success rate? Okay, it's the percentage of runs that are, you guessed it, successful. Now, how do we value success with this stat? Okay, it is valued by when you gain 40% of yards to go on first downs, 40% of yards, so 4+ yards per rush on first down, 1st and 10, 60% on second down, and 100% on 3rd and 4th down, okay? Well, for a minimum of 40 carries, he ranks 8th lowest in the league. Now, that is terrible. You have guys that are splitting backfields that are better than that. We're looking at Algier, Charbonnet, Tyler Goodson is better at rushing success rate, okay? I'm sorry. The offense sucks. Breece Hall's a good player. Breece Hall's a very good player. Braylon Allen, you don't think so, Ted?
Well, I mean, all last year was he good. all this year. Is he good? Good players play good, and he has not been playing good.
That's true. It's all been you know what? You are so right. It's all been
when do we stop calling them good players?
Yeah. It's all he has the talent. He just hasn't gotten a chance to show it yet. It's frustrating for the bank, I'm sure. But yeah, sucks that Jordan Love got hurt. He's glad that he has Jalen Hurts still. But Monty's whole bench went off. And then, I forgot to mention the team, Jack. Cooper Kupp, good job. Big Tucker Craft, good job. Good win. Got it when you needed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle mentioned it about how Monty's bench outscored his starters, even with just like 5 players active on his bench. So,
yep,
I guess that's positive for Monty that he has bench players that he can plug in and play well. But tough spot to be in for Big Shea, standing alone in last place. But yeah, the Jets. I don't know why they look so terrible. I mean, I'd love to see. I don't know what their record was. Oh, can you all see me? Okay. Just blacked out for a minute there. Too many Coronas. But what was I saying? The Jets. I would love to see what their record was at this time last year with Zach Wilson. It can't be worse than what they are now. I mean, I thought with Aaron Rodgers that the offense would be looking good, but they're just the same old Jets being the Jets. So crazy that they're still having those troubles. I think I saw last night that Aaron Rodgers is on pace to have his most interceptions in a season this year. So he's just too old, I guess. He's no Tom Brady. But tough for Monty. 5 losses in a row now, 5-game slide. Huge win for Jack. He's got JT back. He's got Cooper Kupp back. So he's looking better. But yeah, Jordan Love getting hurt is really a bummer for Monty. But like we said, even he started Jalen Hurts 37 points. I think he lost by 35, and the difference between Love and Jalen Hurts was like 32. So still wouldn't have been enough, but could have been at least feeling a little bit better about this week. But Monty's got to get out of that losing streak, or else it could be worrisome for him. So
could be a large man in a very small, tight shirt.
Very small. That shirt is only getting smaller.
Just hearing from our stat department, this time last year, the Jets were 4-4, and they're 2-6 this year.
2-6. Crazy.
So yeah, the Jets suck ass.
Yeah.
And speaking of sucking ass, or should I say munchin' beaver, we had
great
marvelous.
Nice.
We had the LaMarvelous Beaver Munchers beating Kyle 132-125. Kyle had some huge I wasn't watching Kyle's I didn't know who his lineup was, and I wasn't checking throughout the week, but I was thinking I was seeing Jahmyr Gibbs go off. James Cook was going off. DeAndre Swift was going off. Jaden Daniels was working. I was like, Kyle's going to be having a great week, but guess who had a better week? Trevor. Trevor, you've been your team, I want to say it's not June, but you've really had a coming out party because you have put yourself on top of this league with Lamar Jackson with 30, Justin Jefferson with 15, A-Chain's looking like himself again. Trey McBride, an absolute amazing trade. I don't know why anyone would clown you for that, but you're looking good. You've got to be.
Appreciate it, Ted. Appreciate it.
RJ, do you have anything to say about this big matchup for Trev?
What I had written down is pretty much what you said. Looking at Kyle's running backs and receivers, I mean, such solid stat lines all around. You'd think he'd have the win for sure. 11 points from defense and kicker, not bad. 8 from tight end on tight end day, not great. The story of the matchup, though, not starting Jaden Daniels in that revenge game. You can only assume he was scared about that hip injury, which I get. I mean, he didn't want him getting hurt like Jordan Mason on the first drive and then not coming back in. But looking back now, it's just got to sting. like you said with Trev, all around great game. I mean, up top of the breakdown again, top team scoring. It's insane. A-Chain getting
Not the top team scoring.
second at the top, close to the top there. A-Chain getting Tua back looked to be all the difference, help open up that run game. It's crazy, though, since I've mentioned Jaden Reed and how good he's been despite his target share being low.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 weeks, he's gone for 2 points and 6.5 points this past week. And 5.6 of those 6.5 all came from one play in the last 2 minutes on a 51-yard catch. Only 3 touches all game with 2 receptions. You know, Trev, I wouldn't say Jaden Reed's the Amon-Ra. I wouldn't say Jaden Reed for you is, I'm going to start him no matter what. That volatility is, late this season. I wouldn't consider him an everyday type of starter. But, hey, you didn't even need Brandon Aubrey to go nuclear to get this win. So congrats to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it feels good. Talked about how draft night, I think I was feeling the worst I've ever felt after a draft. So it feels good to be in this position. I think we've managed the team well so far this year where we're in a good spot now. Beginning of the year, I was just thinking, well, I can manage it well enough to be a 500 team and make the playoffs, not do anything in the playoffs. But feel good where we're at right now with making a push. So, but as soon as I get Zamir White off that team, then it was smooth sailing from there. I think I saw he had like 1 carry, 0.1 this past week. So he's irrelevant. It's funny. But, yeah, it's kind of an interesting matchup where right at the beginning of the 1 o'clock games, I think Kyle had maybe a touchdown or 2, and he was looking like he was up like 20 or 30 in the projections. Then all of a sudden, my team started scoring, and then the projections were real close. And then I pulled ahead, looked like I would pull it out easy. And then towards the end of the 4 o'clock games, Kyle started getting a bunch of points. Projections started getting closer. Came down to like that Bears-Commanders game where he had Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift, where a touchdown from Williams to Swift on a pass would have damn near sealed it for Kyle. But that didn't happen. They had that fumble from that offensive lineman who took the ball and that second to last Bears drive. But, yeah, so ended up pulling out the win. But things for Kyle with scoring 125 and not getting a win when he needed it. But I'm liking the way I'm looking in the breakdown still. I think it's up to 40-16 now.
That's insane.
So still just consistently putting up some good points. Lamar being Lamar, like you said, Ted. A-Chain looking good now with Tua back, even though he was robbed of a couple touchdowns from Mostert.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he can find the end zone and still put up production with those yards. Even though we talked about the Jets looking bad, Garrett Wilson is still getting some good targets from Rodgers, even with Devontae Adams there. So that's good. McBride's been having crazy production, even though this is interesting. He has not scored this year. No touchdowns.
Wow.
Just all yards and catches that he's getting to put him in the tight end 5 spot.
He's a beast.
And then, even got those points without a lot of points from the kicker and defense. I was doing the math on those percentages. I think it was maybe like less than 10 or around 10 that was the percentage of my points from kicker and defense this week. So that was exciting to see that the skill guys can still put up points and not rely on that kicker and defense. Yeah, Jaden Reed has not looked good the past couple of weeks. He had like a 50-yard reception in like the last drive of the game. That was really all his points came from. He had pretty much 0 other than that. So we'll see. I might give him one more week to see if he can go nuclear like he had been in some of the early weeks. Nuclear! But if not, we'll see. I'll try and plug and play some guys from the bench. But Kyle, can't believe he did not start Jaden in that potential revenge matchup. That obviously would have given him the win, potential revenge game, the trade he got from me. I'm sure he's kicking himself for that. He actually texted me after it was before Jaden threw the Hail Mary and said, because at that time, the difference between Jaden and Caleb was I don't know, maybe 10 points only at the time or even less than that, I think. So he texted me saying, if Brandon Aubrey doesn't get at least 5 points, I'm going to buy a gun. And then Jaden threw that Hail Mary, so Brandon Aubrey would have needed like 13, 14 to make up that difference. That obviously didn't happen. So hopefully Kyle's doing okay. I don't know. We'll see.
I haven't heard from him.
I haven't
Yeah,
heard.
has anyone heard from Kyle?
Haven't heard from him.
All he texted me was some password. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was his NFL.com password. I don't know what it was. He might just have offed himself
to take over the team. But yeah, especially taking a 5-2 loss on the breakdown, tough for Kyle. So, but still a good week from him. It's a positive to take from it. I think all his skill position guys got double digits, so I wouldn't be too worried if I was him.
Well, that concludes our Week 8 recap. I believe before we have to cut to commercial, we have a segment about a Google form.
Yeah.
You might have seen in the group me.
Yes.
About the future of our post-draft parties.
So many responses. I appreciate all the responses that we got in regards to the Google review that I sent 2 weeks ago, the ZFFFL 2024 end-of-year party destination. It says, here's a chance for you, a league member of the ZFFFL, to voice your opinion on where we should go. Write 1 to 5 options of where to go, what to do, price points you'd like to keep it at, and anything you want. And maybe, just maybe, your voice will be heard. Well, we got 3 responses, and if I can, it's not letting me scroll on my phone.
3 responses.
We got 3 responses.
Almost half the league.
Almost half the league, yeah.
Are you one of the responses, RJ?
No. So this is what we heard back from. Just some options that we could think of. One person said, I want to cruise, casino, buffet, drinks, water. Yeah, baby. So we could go on a cruise. Now that one might be a little bit pricey, I would say.
No.
Especially, and we would have to, I would think that we would want to go the 3-day cruise, the shortest. I looked into it a little bit, and yeah, it's more of the pricier option. Now, one thing we could do is we could come out of there's a port here in downtown Tampa near the Lightning Stadium, so we could fly here and then go out. There was a Mexico cruise that I saw, and then a Jamaican cruise that I saw that we could do.
Come on.
Like I said, that option is definitely on the pricier side, and we would have to get more.
4-night Bahamas, $218 a night. Let's do it.
A person, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Really? I was going to ask, what are the prices for like a 3-4 day cruise?
I'm on cruises.cheapcaribbean.com. Actually, $218 total, $55 a night. But we would have to leave. They leave November 4th.
And the room sizes. We would probably need to take turns sleeping. The rooms are very, very small at that price point. Especially if we only we would need to get probably 4 rooms.
I was going to say, does that price include your room? Can you buy like a ticket onto a cruise and just not use the room? just sleep
standing room only.
In a room. 8 guys getting a ticket to a cruise, but one room on.
Yeah, we make sleeping schedules. Like, all right, you get to sleep 1 to 4 a.m. You sleep 4 to 8. I get the day shift of sleep. So that's one option.
So wouldn't that price include a bed for everyone?
That price,
we'll do more research. Something to think about.
Yeah, that
it
price
would include a
bed. Maybe by next pod, I could come with some more concrete price points.
And I assume that wouldn't be all inclusive. You have to pay for all your food and drinks and stuff.
You can pay for all inclusive, but that's where they make their money big time, because you can't bring that on a cruise because they check all your bags. But I know that there's a way, like some people use a hair dryer and tape up stuff, because you can bring like one bottle of wine, I think, but a lot of times they empty it out and fill that with like vodka, something like a little more oomph to it. But I'm not sure. Another response just said Cancun, Tampa, Hawaii, anywhere warm. Cancun, do you need a passport? You need a pass. Yeah, I don't have a passport, so we would, if we
get a passport.
Huh?
You can get a passport.
I know. So I would have to get a passport is what I'm saying. Okay. If we did that option, Hawaii, I'm sure, is also pretty pricey, especially with the Airbnbs. Out of this option, Tampa would be the cheapest, but I'm pretty sure we're planning on that for the draft party next year.
And it's been ravaged, right?
Yeah, and there's like nothing here. So
it's like Haiti in 2013.
Yeah, it's worse than Haiti.
Joe Milton did them dirty.
Worse than Katrina. So, and then the other option. This person did a great job giving a bunch of good information. It would have been nice for any or all of these responses to include price points, not to give me more work to do. But yeah, no one gave price points. But I did like a lot of great options here: Miami, New Orleans, San Diego, Denver, Charleston, Savannah, Hilton Head, something beachy, which I can see would be a good choice. Now, I live somewhere beachy, but I do understand the end of year party is in a colder time in January, February, March, depending on if the 49ers do anything. And then this person said, pretty much said that same thing. That anywhere north probably wouldn't be great for February. Miami, fun for beach, pool options, or golf, outdoor activities. I'm thinking if we did Miami, we could do somewhere a little north of Miami, depending on what we want to do, I guess. If we're more focused on like just the beachy atmosphere, I'm like a Port St. Lucie or Vero Beach, Melbourne. That's more of like a calmer, nicer area. West Palm Beach, we could probably get a great Airbnb there, a little bit cheaper than Miami. I would think New Orleans would be fun. Bourbon Street, I really like that idea. I know a lot of flights there, at least out of Tampa, that I've looked into, have been fairly cheap. And then we also would have that casino trip. Obviously, San Diego would be on the pricier side, I would think. That would be in the States. But never. This person said, "I've never been, but it is full of fags out there." So we would have to deal with that. Denver,
we would have to deal with that.
Denver would be fun, but obviously that wouldn't be that beachy sort of atmosphere. It'd be more a cold winter trip, naked hot tubbing with the boys, as this person said. But they did mention similar price points to what we have been doing, and I'm pretty sure we could find that anywhere. Vegas, it's not too expensive, but we could probably find something very similar. But yeah, great options. And they even said at the end of this, I'm also good with just camping in the middle of Montana. I'd be cool with that. Anywhere with the boys. We'll find. I feel like anywhere we go, we'd find a good thing to do. So yeah, maybe we in the next couple weeks we narrow it down, and then by Thanksgiving try and look at booking an Airbnb somewhere. or at least looking at Airbnbs and narrowing stuff down, or cruises, or specific cruises. We can narrow it down in the coming weeks, and hopefully by Thanksgiving have it all squared away.
I think that sounds like a good plan. A lot of good options out there. It sounds like a fun time. Maybe another Google form for people to put in their price points.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then some Google polls to vote on.
Average it out. What would you say if you had to pick the top place right now? What would it be? Your number one choice. Like for me, my number one choice, I think, would be hilarious, but this is completely disregarding price point, would be the cruise. And then my cruise
would be fun.
Cruise would be hilarious. But the price point would be the issue there, I would think. No. Well, Ted, yeah, you're loaded.
I'll find a cruise.
You'll find a cruise. All right, perfect.
I don't know if I have a number one right now. I'd have to see prices and stuff, but I'll just do a quick summary. I think Hawaii would probably be too expensive.
I agree.
I think same with like San Diego and the other issue. The cruise would be fun if we can find a good destination, amount of days, good price point. I'm interested in that one. I think somewhere like Miami would be fun. I think a random spot like Montana doing some weird shit would be fun.
I think that would be fun. Somewhere that none of us have really gone to. Maybe like a Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something different. Seattle's cool.
And then I think New Orleans would be fun. I think, like the Savannah Hilton Head, that'd be probably too cold during that time. Probably don't love that one. But yeah, I think those are some good options. Oh, and then I guess with the cruise, if we went to like Mexico, probably need a passport there too. So I guess that's something to keep in mind of how many people.
I think there's something about cruises you don't need passports, but I could be wrong.
You can look into that.
Something like maritime law. But do you guys anything?
Sorry.
Keep going. I was just gonna
say, if we did do the cruise, I know my other half, girlfriend right now, would be very jealous and
which makes it so much better.
And extremely upset that we would choose that option and not.
And it would be so funny.
Yeah, so that would definitely need some explaining to do, especially if we left out of Tampa and we just went down the street and she dropped us all off.
Wave from the boat.
That would be fun. All right, that's all I got.
All right, so we've got a quick commercial break, then we'll be right back with our Week 9 preview. So hold on, we'll be right back.
The gambling problem can make you feel all alone, but it doesn't have to. Get help today, please, for your family.
And we're back. That was some great discussion, but why don't we get into the reason we are all here, looking into next week. But I think ASICS might have something very horny to tell us.
Nope, not quite horny. Pretty spooky, though. As we begin the preview of Week 8 of the 2024 ZFFFL, I must remind you of our great sponsorship over at our ZFFFL ASICS Sportsbook, ASICS Footwear. This Halloween, don't just run, vanish, and slip into the ASICS Night Streak and leave every ghost, goblin, and ghoul in the dust. Trick or treat, with Night Streak, you'll be gone before they even see you. The Night Streak. Run like hell's right behind you. ASICS, a sound mind is a sound body.
Spooky.
And speaking of which, I think one of our least valuable league members called this a very spooky week looking at these matchups.
They did.
So why don't we take into the first one? This is sponsored by Uber, our Take Me Anywhere But Here matchup, because these two people are stuck in the middle and don't want to go down. They want to go up. They need to get out of where they are. Kyle versus Kevin. Kyle just really needs – I see now he's got Jaden Daniels in his lineup. I think Kyle is looking pretty good, all things considered, with the way his running backs are looking. And then Kevin, on the other hand, he's got no tight end right now, George Kittle on a bye. But he just needs another nuclear. He needs Josh Allen, Saquon, Amon-Ra to really just go nuclear, and I think he's got this in a bag. But otherwise, RJ, what does the sportsbook think about this one?
Yeah, as of now, like you said, Kevin has no tight end in his starting lineup. But this matchup should be over by the 4 p.m.s on Sunday regarding or depending on who Kevin puts in his tight end spot, which I love. Those are my favorite games to be in. This is a sneaky big-time game. Kev has the potential to be 4-5, putting him actually towards the bottom of the pack. I mean, if Monty wins, Chase wins, and who else? Jack wins. He's right there with tied with the come game people. Crazy to think about. Interesting to see how Deontay Johnson, for me, disrupts Zay Flowers' production for Kyle. I see Jaden Daniels, like you said, is back in his starting lineup. I'm curious if Kyle's head's kind of scrambling, if he's starting to, question his instincts as a manager, if he's starting to get nervous about who he picks. Oh my God, I can't pick the wrong person. So, he needs to stay level-headed, especially in this crucial part of the season. Wash Downs and Kevin's flex, which I absolutely love. He's looked fantastic with Flacco at quarterback. Personally, I think this one is extremely close. The book, though, sees Kevin as a much larger favorite than I would have thought. -5.
Trevor, you got on this one.
What was that line? What was the spread there?
-5.5, Kevin.
Kevin, -5.5. Gotcha. Well, let's see here. I'm calling this one the Michaels Meet Me in the Middle Arts and Crafts matchup.
Wait, was it already? Didn't they already sponsor a matchup in the past?
They might have, but we got another one here because
we love our sponsors. All of them.
These two guys are in the middle, right in the middle, 4 and 5 in the standings. They need to craft up some lineups to potentially get a win that they are both looking for to get closer towards the top spot. I'm also calling this one the can't lose, must win matchup of the week.
Whoa!
Wow. Every other matchup has one of us three in it, us three at the top 3 spots in the league. So neither of any of us three are in that must win, can't lose scenario, but these two are in that must win, can't lose scenario. I'm calling this one a must win for 3 and 5 Kyle, and I can't lose for 4 and 4 Kevin. But should be a good matchup. I think not a whole lot of bye trouble except for, like we said, Kevin's tight end. Has no other tight end on the roster right now, so he'll need to pick one up. But as far as the sports book line goes, I was on the podcast last week, and I think I picked all the favorites and went 1 and 3. So based on this matchup, I could see it going either way. I'm going to have to take the +5.5 for Kyle on this one. I think this one's going to be close. If you give me some extra points on one side, I'm going to go with that and take the underdog +5.5 for the Riley Reid option.
Whoa. Sorry, everyone.
The +5.5 for the Riley Reid option.
I think that's a good. I think this is a one that bettors could make a lot of money on. I might be questioning the book's integrity of whether they're really making this a truthful line or just helping themselves out because they think someone might give themselves whatever. But I think that's a great one, Trev. I think you can't go wrong with that.
Thank you. Good pick.
Now looking at our next matchup,
did you just under your breath tell yourself good pick? Are you trying to give yourself confidence on your pick? Just go, good pick.
Looking at our next matchup, I'm calling this the target
I need to wait
Target
to see my money back in the sports book.
Hyping yourself up. We've
Gotta
got
win the championships just so I can get that money back I've lost in the sports book.
You win the championship just to hand all that money back over to the sports book.
So our next matchup, we've got the target share matchup, including none other than RJ. I think target share is going to play big into this because RJ's got Devonta Smith and Puka Nacua in his matchup, and Monty's got AJ Brown and Malik Neighbors, who are also they're big target share targets. I think the wide receivers are going to do a lot, especially for Monty. He's going to be relying on them. RJ's always had those running backs, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, but I think it's really going to come down to can his wide receivers get him over the hump? And for Monty, he needs one of them to go nuclear to keep him from being 2-7, which would just be devastating. RJ, what's the sportsbook think about this one?
Yeah, this one here is a must win here for the bank. If he loses, he would have the longest streak of the league so far in 6. So I snapped my 5-game win streak last week. He's trying to snap his 5-game losing streak this week. Not sure how I feel about Deontay Johnson being traded to Baltimore. For me, I like it more than Bryce Young at quarterback, but probably not as much as Andy Dalton. Just more mouths to feed there in Baltimore. Not sure still what I'm going to do at tight end. Honestly, I feel like I have options with Jake Ferguson and Cade Otton because I love Cade Otton in Tampa now with the receivers getting hurt. And honestly, I love Cedric Tillman. I was very glad to pick him up, Tennessee grad. He could possibly play in one of my wide receiver spots. I feel like Puka's settled in, but he might be played over Devonta. We'll see. But because I love, like you said, target share, 9 targets from Jameis. You know how much Jameis loves to sling it. I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, Bink has Kareem Monday night. Breece Hall facing the 4th toughest run defense in Houston. Going back to his original stack that he had at the start of the year, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors in a tough divisional matchup against Washington. David Njoku revenge game, if you want to even call it that. I drafted him, but he played 1 drive before snapping his femur. Can't believe he's back already from that. Odds are coming in a little late, so they might change by group post time. But as of now, RJ minus 3.5.
Ooh.
That's a tough line. Well, I'm calling this one let's see, Monty and RJ, we're calling this one the Subway Surfers streaking matchup because, like we talked about, these teams have seen some streaks this year. RJ had that 5-game win streak. Monty is on the 5-game slide. I think at some point it's got to turn for Monty. I still like Monty's team. I don't think he's on paper. He has a 2-6 team. But we know how dominant RJ's team has been outside of last week. So with that line, no real bye week trouble, it seems. I mean, you got the Jordan Mason, Christian McCaffrey combo on bye, but honestly, with Jordan Mason just getting hurt all the time, that's probably better for you if you have the running backs to put in for him. Should be a good matchup, a huge matchup for Monty. He's got to win this one. And let's see, minus 3.5 for RJ, plus 3.5 for Bink. I think that it'll come down to Kareem Hunt on Monday night. And I think he's going to get the job done. I'm going to go with the underdog again in this matchup. I think Monty's in desperation mode. He needs this win. I'm going to take the Bank plus 3.5. Give me those points.
You know, thankfully, I feel like that we've seen more separation in the league this year, at least so far. Like you guys clinching a playoff spot pretty early. I feel like earlier than usual. Because I'm 5-3, like people, because I went on a 5-game win streak, people think like, oh, like I'm up there at the top, but being 5-3, I know it's just one spot away from the top. But if I lose this matchup and I'm 5-4, Kevin wins. I think I beat Kevin, so I guess I do have the tiebreaker over him. But I feel like I would just like to get the win so I can clinch already and not have to worry about it anymore. Because, like I said on past podcasts, winning like that whole week, you just feel more relaxed. Now I just feel a little bit more on edge, probably maybe more than I should be. I mean, I am still 5-3 and in third place, but I do feel a little bit edgy right now. Like I just want to get that 6th win.
And I really want to. Everyone's talking about 6 wins. I really want to call in the mathematics on why 6 wins is an automatic clinch.
We've never had someone with 6 wins be in the last place game.
Yeah, I'm just thinking mathematically.
Mathematically, you guys are fine. Not everyone below you can win. We play each other.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, Trevor's back. Go ahead.
Well, 6 wins. Well, yeah, because we've never had 6 wins be in the last place game. But wouldn't it be crazy if there was a year? There could be a year where everyone's 7-7, and then it would all just
tiebreaker.
Because then everyone would be 7-7. You matched up with everyone. Everyone has the same record head to head. It would just literally come down to whoever has the least points for.
That would have to work out so perfectly.
Yeah, technically, it could still happen this year, though.
Can it? I don't know if it can.
Yeah, because Monty can. Well, I mean, you probably have to work out.
Who does? You have to check who each person plays.
Yeah, you'd have to work out matchups and stuff. But I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good way for maybe the stat man, if he's still alive, can see if that's still a possibility.
But he also did send me his password to his computer, so I sadly think he has passed away.
Yeah, yeah. Rest in peace.
Maybe we'll have to recruit Otis to take his spot.
Yeah.
Maybe I might work on that today. See if I'll just work out matchups and see if everyone can get to 7-7.
Well, looking at our next matchup, this is the Dr. Pepper Too Hot to Handle matchup. Just because both these teams, they need a little bit of spice in their life. A little bit of spice in their life. You got me against Jack. I think I really need to keep proving that I deserve the top 2 spot in this league. And I think Jack deserves that he shouldn't be in 7th. But I don't think Jack's panicking, but I don't know if he should start. But he definitely needs a little bump. So just looking at this matchup, I think it's going to come down to my wide receivers really need to show out. I like that Tyreek actually got the ball thrown to him. That was kind of nice to look at. Terry McLaurin, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him. And then looking at Jack, I think Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, if they can keep getting 18, 20 points, they'll be looking good. But then just I think a lot of his other players like Cooper Kupp, a little bit questionable. Their offense is looking good, but with Puka back, who knows? And then DK, like RJ said, Seattle just sucks some weeks. It'll be interesting to see how Jack, if he can keep up picking random people, dropping Ramondre Stevenson the week before he gets 2 touchdowns. Who knows what Jack's doing, but he's sitting at the talking stick drinking his free soda. So, RJ, what do you think about this one?
Like I mentioned with Kyle, I think Jack's sort of in the same boat of you gotta trust your instincts. And I don't know if Jack's doing that right now with his adds and drops, because he's dropping a lot of really talented players that he seems like he could use right about now. I personally hate DK Metcalf starting. But honestly, overall, Jack's team, this week, I do kind of like it. I love Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he's the starter now in New York. That's like one of Jack's only good pickups, I think. No Monday night players this matchup either, which is really nice. JT and Darnold for Jack are the only Sunday night games. Ted, I'll be honest, for me, I think you should take this, but the book right now, as of now, might come out later. The book has it as a pick'em.
Wow. Trev, what are you thinking about this one?
Interesting.
Pick up between me and Jack, even though I'm 2 in the league and Jack is 7. That's very interesting to see.
Pick 'em. Let's see. Well, I've got 2 sponsors for this one. I'm calling this one the Semi-Pro. Huh?
3 total sponsors.
3 total. This is the Semi-Pro Let's Get Tropical matchup because Jack just found his beach in Hawaii, and he got a big win last week. Teddy, you found your beach clinching the playoffs. Big win last week. This is also the In Sync bye matchup because we've got the biggest bye week troubles in this matchup here. Jack's got Debo on bye. Teddy, you've got Najee, even though you don't ever play him. George Pickens and the Steelers defense on bye. Are the Steelers and Niners the only 2 teams with bye weeks this week? Looks like it.
I think so.
But so a little bit of bye week trouble, probably the most of any matchup in this one. But Sportsbook line's giving this a pick 'em. I mean, Ted, you're coming off the highest scoring week. Jack is getting Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp back in that lineup, which is huge, though. Let's see here. Just looking at the matchups.
Are you wearing pants, Ted? Step back.
I'm wearing shorts.
Oh, okay.
They just got kind of rolled up, sitting down.
Jack does have Evans still out. This one's a pick 'em, so I can't choose the underdog. So I'm going to go with the higher seed here. Ted, I think you get the win here. I think
Wow.
Jack's dealing with a little injury trouble, even though he's getting Kupp and Jonathan Taylor back, but still having Mike Evans out, Debo on bye. Teddy, I think Tyreek Hill is going to – he didn't look great last week with Tua back, but I think he's going to eventually have some big production. I think Derrick Henry is going to be still doing Derrick Henry things, even though they play a tough Denver D. Kamara's playing the Panthers, so he should go off. I think Derek Carr might be back too, so that should help Kamara. Josh Jacobs has looked great after Kevin told you to bench him. So
Exactly.
give me Teddy to win the pick 'em.
Fun fact, Ted. Jack is actually ahead of you in the breakdown by 1 still after you went 7-0. And Jack is 3rd in points scored, right behind Trevor and Kevin.
But what's he in the actual rankings? I'm making chili, by the way.
How's your bread doing?
I haven't made bread again, but I've got a lot of free time coming up, so I might be making some more bread.
There you go. But yeah, give me Teddy to win. Though I don't love that pick. It's probably not going to be one I put in the sportsbook. I can see this one going either way.
Now, looking at our last matchup, I'll take that. This is the EA Sports Get in the Game matchup because we've got Trevor versus Chase. And I know these 2 people are gamers because they have been working their way up. They've been red hot. Chase winning 2, Trevor winning. How many of you won in a row, Trev? Trevor's won 4 in a row. These teams are looking hot. Chase has got Baker Mayfield. I think he's got to feel confident there. CeeDee's looking like the only option in Dallas. I think he's looking good. But Trevor, on the other hand, Lamar, he's been working. But I think with A-Chain, Jefferson, Trey McBride, I think this one will be pretty close, all things considered. RJ, what's the sportsbook think about this one?
Trev, like I mentioned earlier, you clinched the playoffs, now really pushing for that bye week. You have a chance to really throw your former coworker back down into the come game here. This matchup gets started Thursday night with the battle of the receivers on the same team in Devontae and Garrett Wilson. and ends with another teammate matchup Sunday night in Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. Trev, I'm giving you the nod in both those matchups personally. And then the biggest benefit for you, Trev, the fact that Brandon Aubrey is facing the Atlanta Falcons, who allow the most points against kickers. Trevor, you are the biggest favorite of the week, -7.5. Yeah.
Wow. Whew, that's a steep line. Well, let's see. I'm calling this one the red zone, real hot, Frank's red hot matchup because I've won 4 in a row. Chase is on a little win streak here. Chase is getting hot at the right time. What really scares me in this matchup is the only Monday night player right now is Baker on Monday night. So,
is he starting him?
Chase does have Baker in the starting lineup, which is going to be scary after those Sunday night matchup when we both have players coming down to just Baker on Monday night. I mean, I need to be up about 40 plus to feel any sort of comfort there. So don't love that. And they're playing the Chiefs. So they're probably going to be behind throwing the ball a lot. So that scares me. I don't know. Can I in these picks we do? Can I say I think I'm going to win, but I don't think I'm going to cover for my pick? Can I do Chase? I don't really feel great.
Yeah, I'd say so because you're not putting money down.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I want to show that lack of confidence, but I think I'm going to win, but not cover. I'll say. I think Baker coming down it'll be close Monday night. I'll say I'm going to win. Got to have that confidence, but I like Chase to cover that big spread. What was it, +7.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chase covers that. Lamar scares me this week, playing a good defense, and I think Baker on Monday night will be huge for Chase. But yeah, hoping I get a win and to get closer to that bye. But Chase has looked good right now these last couple weeks, so. I'll take for the picks. I'll take Chase +7. Should be a good matchup there.
Yeah, I really think Chase is going to be the biggest. I think this is his biggest week to show whether he's just a pretender or if he's here to play. Because what was he 1 and 4?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah,
he was.
Was he 1 and 5 or? It might have been. Is he on a 2-game win streak?
Yeah, he's on a 2-game.
He's on a 2-game win streak. So yeah,
he was 1 and 5.
Wow. Does this guy look healthy to you?
Who is that?
Christian McCaffrey. He looks so frail.
Looks like he's a skinny guy. He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, and he's standing like sideways.
It's on stilts.
Like he looks fake.
On his prosthetic legs.
Do something about it, Chase. Come on. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, I forgot. Chase is on a bye week too, so he's going to be all in on fantasy.
He'll be locked in.
Yeah, give me Chase +7.5.
Wow. Sorry about that. I just had to get the chili started.
All good.
So I think that wraps up the Week 9 recap. Do you guys have anything else more to say?
I just want to say thanks for having me on again. I love coming on the pod. Always want to come on the pod. So anytime you guys need a guest, happy to come on. But I do like seeing other league members on here. So maybe if you haven't really been on this year, Jack, Chase, might be your time. So. But thanks for having me on. Love the Halloween costume, RJ. Happy Halloween, everybody. Mm-hmm. I just want to, like we did at the end of last week, we talked about who was in the most trouble, who should be the most worried. Mm-hmm. And we all said Jack, but he got that big win. So who do we think's in the most trouble now? There might be an obvious answer, but we'll see if that can get him a win. But do we all agree who it is?
Monty.
I think it's got to be Monty.
Monty needs a win bad.
Because if he stumbles, he is just further in the hole.
If Monty loses, I would argue to say he's officially in the come game, and then it's really Jack and Chase fighting for that last spot. But don't count. I mean, Kyle needs a win.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like pretty much everyone needs a win, but you guys, like in their own heads. Like to me, I even need a win. Like I just want to be done. I just want to clinch.
Yeah.
And Kyle's like, I'm too close to comfort. And same with Kevin. Like that, I think that matchup in general is going to be huge because like I said, if Jack wins, Monty wins, Chase wins, and Kyle wins, Kevin is tied for someone in the come game.
Yep. I think Monty's definitely should be the most worried. This is a huge week for Monty, not only in his own matchup, but everybody else's, because there's a chance he wins and is still in sole possession of last place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if he loses and the 3 teams tied at 3 and 5, none of them play each other, so they could all win. There's a chance where Chase, Kyle, Jack all win. Monty loses. That would put Monty 2 games back of 7th place. So big week for Monty.
And Trev, you have the least to worry about just because you have the tiebreaker over Ted.
Mm-hmm. For now.
For now. Wait, do you guys still play one more time?
Yeah.
You guys didn't play last week, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you did play last week.
I played you last week.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid.
Well, speaking of Trev saying we want more people to be on the pod, I have an announcement. I have quit my day job to podcast full time. I thought, really devote yourself to what you love. And I think this podcast, we've literally gotten dozens of views this year. So I think we can keep that going. We'll start monetizing this. Our brand deals, we've had 13 per episode. So so that money's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But what's that to say is weekend or weeknight recordings are now back in. Maybe some post Monday night pressers, maybe some more content coming your way. But if you're like on the fence, we've got some more availability.
Love how much our Twitter is getting into the game.
Do you want to know? This might be, pulling back the curtain a little bit. I got a text from the manager of the Twitter, and he said, "Hey, do you know the Twitter password?"
Yeah, same. He messaged me and asked if he used my email, and I was like, I didn't even know we had a Twitter. Like a couple posts were sent in the group chat. So that guy needs to figure it out. I know he might have a few other things on his mind right now, but he has to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But if you guys don't have anything else, I want to say, as always, thanks for listening to the ZFFFL FF Pod. Make sure to get those bets in. Go ahead.
When's your last day with your job?
This Friday, the November 1st.
Did you get a new job?
Yeah, podcasting full time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Dozens of views.
But no, yeah, I haven't actually gotten it.
If anyone's hiring,
if you if Deloitte has like a day janitor, that'd be nice.
Day janitor.
But to wrap it up, as always, thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. Be sure to follow us on social at ZFFFL FF Pod on all major platforms. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always,
fuck
you, Trevor!
Yeah, thanks, Brittany.